Hello everyone, it's Shane Conto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland, where I have a guest come on and we get a little bit of perspective on their likes of movies and favorite things. And this time we got my brother Ethan back for round 2, so, I've been doing this since October, and you're my second guest to come back on for a second time. So, have a whole new set of questions. You ready to go?
Yep.
Let's see. So our first question is, what is a previously released film you have never seen that you're most excited to check out?
Labyrinth.
Get to watch some David Bowie, his tight tights, and him singing and his rather very, very present bulge. But also Jennifer Connelly, well before she became like a huge star, so that's a good pick. I watched it once, I think, at some point. I don't remember much of it. I have to rewatch it at this point. It's going on my watch list, which is ever growing. I think it's up to like 80 movies at this point. I'm going to catch up to it eventually. Now, Ethan, what's an upcoming film that you're most excited about that hasn't been released yet?
I know it's in my head somewhere.
I have a guess on what it might be.
I can't remember what's coming out.
That is a fair point.
That is...
I know F9's coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something you're...
I mean, I am excited for it, but not as excited if it, as crazy as Fast and Furious has gotten. And
they're going to space, apparently.
They want to do a Jurassic World crossover, some crap like that. I don't know if that's a rumor, but please don't do that.
I wouldn't put anything past Universal at this point. Bringing people back from the dead. I'm really interested to see how they're going to explain Han not being dead.
They've already done that. He got out of the car. That was their explanation. He got out of the car.
It's basically the same thing as like the end of The Dark Knight Rises, where it's like cheap editing, where it's like there's no way Christian Bale got out of that ship, and then it exploded and got...
There was,
Well, yes, because is Alfred dreaming at the end of Dark Knight Rises and not actually seeing him there? Look at that conspiracy theory. Wouldn't put it past Christopher Nolan. But there's a lot of stuff coming out. We have 4 Marvel movies coming out this year, including Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man No Way Home, which everyone keeps lying about when we're going to get a trailer for. Supposedly it was like yesterday because it was Tom Holland's birthday, and it's just like, no, that didn't happen. I just saw something, and it's like, it's going to come out June 10th, and I'm like, bullshit. I'll believe the trailer when it actually comes out.
Now, there was something in mind, but I cannot remember.
I know, I'm still looking forward to Bond coming out. That's been supposed to be coming out for 2 years at this point.
I'm probably more excited.
Is it Halloween Kills?
Yes. Because Halloween's the best.
Jason Blum was just like, screw that, we're going to push this back a whole year. This is coming out at Halloween.
Hell yeah.
And apparently this is the largest body count of any Halloween movie. So...
Canon or not canon?
All of them.
All of them.
Michael Myers is going to be rampaging everybody. Nobody's safe.
I can't wait.
Now, what's a movie that you really wish that they would make a remake of?
I hate to say it because it probably get all kinds of screwed up, but The Breakfast Club.
They would definitely update it a lot.
Yeah.
That's a tough...
Do they still do Saturday Detention?
I don't know. Ask Mr. Bill.
We can.
Mr. Bill was our student liaison, the coolest human being ever. He would do Saturday Detention.
He watched over me the one time I had a Saturday Detention.
And in-school suspension.
And that too.
So, all of that fun stuff. But it would be... So, like, I feel like The Breakfast Club is something that could work at any point. It's just, you have to have somebody as talented as John Hughes to write it. And Obviously, they
And
would.
they're not getting that.
I
At least not
would-
getting him.
Well, yeah,
Obviously.
he unfortunately passed away. But like, I feel like there's, you know who
Taika
they,
Waititi should do it.
you know who they probably would get to do it. Like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg would probably do it.
They could. Fair enough.
Because I feel like Superbad is like this past 20 years is like Breakfast Club kind of thing for like young people kind of movie. Obviously, it's not the same kind of movie. You also have like Booksmart, so like Olivia Wilde maybe. That would be cool. I really enjoyed Booksmart a lot. It's somewhere up there. So is the Breakfast Club. They're actually probably right next to each other, at least close to each other. Because that's the alphabet, folks.
Yeah, Breakfast Club right here. Best movie ever.
Yeah, there we go. And we talked about that the first time
Booksmart.
Ethan was on here, so you should go check out that episode.
It was funny.
Shameless plugs. Now, Ethan, what's your fondest memory of going to the movies?
Let's see. Didn't happen till later, when we're older, because whenever we all started, when the big Marvel craze of the cinematic universe started, and it just became like essentially an event instead of just going to the movies. And you get all your friends, and we all go and do the back when there was an actual midnight release.
Yes.
Before they released it a day before at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Both of us and Jess went to go see Godzilla King of the Monsters at like 4:30 on a Thursday night, opening night. I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, I even left work early.
Opening afternoon,
and it was one of like the big 24 screens at AMC Hamilton, and there had to be like,
rest in peace.
so sad, there had to be like 8 people in this whole entire auditorium at 4:30 on a Thursday. Yeah, we didn't really go to the movies a lot growing up as kids.
Yeah,
because
like every time, like Aunt Luann wanted to something like drag us places.
Where we left Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring an hour early, and
a lot of we didn't finish there was a lot of movies we didn't finish.
I didn't find out I missed the Balrog until when I went to school on Monday, and Mindazu was telling me about it, and he was just like, you missed a giant fire demon with a whip and a sword. I'm like, what? I thought it was the end, like, we had been there 2 hours already, so I guess my aunt assumed that it was almost over. Just kidding. I remember the time where you wanted to see Hot Chicks, and I wanted to see Shrek 2, so then we saw The Terminal instead.
Oh my god.
Thanks, Aunt Luann.
That perfect compromise.
This is why Steven...
Tom Hanks in a frickin' airport.
Tom Hanks as an immigrant stuck in an airport, and this is why Steven Spielberg should avoid doing like straight comedies.
Like, how old were we? And we saw
you were I guess you were 14 and I was 13. That's not what we want to go see when you're a 14 and 13-year-old going to the movies. So I know some of my fondest memories of some of the things that you brought up, like seeing Force Awakens, Ethan dressed head to toe as Kylo Ren, and then
neck to toe. They wouldn't let me wear my helmet.
You couldn't wear the helmet in the theater because...
Thanks, Dark Knight Rising.
Which we saw on opening day because I got rained out at Riverton, and we're like, let's go at like mid of the day.
The day after, too.
Midday Friday. And that was scary because like that shooting happened in Colorado, and we're like, we're still going to go to the movies. And we got to see The Dark Knight Rises. But it was funny because you had to go to the bathroom at Force Awakens, and I was dressed like business professional from work, and I stood there outside the bathroom with this crossguard lightsaber and a suit. And then you were posing with a couple of people afterwards.
Yes, we had.
There was an Anakin.
We had a mini
photo
shoot in
the middle of
frickin' AMC.
In the middle of AMC Hamilton, which the best part of that this was a crazy night because one, the second that Kylo Ren started going nutso, like slashing everything when he got upset, I just slowly turned and looked at him, and I'm just like, oh, look, it's you.
I don't do that.
And then there was definitely a fight in that parking lot that night. People were very angry in the parking lot leaving.
I remember going out in the convertible with my lightsaber lit up and the Imperial March by Cell Dweller, like blasting with a big smile on my face.
I also remember both of us and John went to go see Thor Ragnarok together, and in the beginning scene where they had Surtur, and he started talking, and John all of a sudden was like, "Oh my God, is that Clancy Brown?" in the middle of the theater, and just lost it. Which it indeed was Clancy Brown who voiced Surtur, the fire demon, in Thor Ragnarok. So, we've had some fun times at the movies. I remember very distinctly missing you at Halloween and Bohemian Rhapsody, being there with John, so this time we get to go see Halloween Kills together.
That would have been wonderful to go see Bohemian Rhapsody in theater.
I got emotional during the Live Aid concert at the end.
That was freaking amazing.
Now, Ethan, what's a film that really exceeded your expectations that you've seen? Like, you thought this was going to be complete crap, but you loved it.
We'll eat my words because I talked so much shit on Batfleck.
Fair.
I was wrong.
He messed some people up in Batman vs. Superman.
I had no faith at all.
The second he punched that dude's head into the floor in that warehouse scene.
That's my kind of Batman. That's Batman.
He is an imposing dude. Yeah. Ben Affleck is a large man. But the thing is, I'm still not the hugest fan of Batman v Superman, but I do love Batman from that movie. God,
actually, I think another was, both of them happen to be Pete Davidson, Big Time Adolescence, and The King of Staten Island. I was like, freaking Pete, how can they be good? And then they were both incredible movies.
So, fun fact, I didn't know who Pete Davidson was before I watched Big Time Adolescent. Like, who the hell is this guy?
He was making out with Kate Beckinsale for like a week and a half. Lucky bastard.
It's like sitting there watching, I'm like, who the hell is this dude? And then I found out that he's a famous guy from SNL. I'm like,
he's funny as shit, and he actually is good in serious roles.
King of Staten Island was one of the nice highlights of last summer when movies weren't really happening.
I don't rent movies, ever.
And
I was like, I'll here, $6, take it.
Well, you definitely got that after I did, because I rented that opening weekend when it was the $19.99 premium VOD at that point. It was worth it, though.
I tend to wait.
Here's the thing. I watch movies with Jess all the time, so, basically I'm paying for two people, so $10 a person isn't that bad to watch a movie. It's just at home. But that and Palm Springs were some great watching. Have you seen Palm Springs?
We were all, thinking, we were sitting there for, 2 hours the other day. And we're like, what the hell are we going to watch? And that was one of them that popped up, and then I don't think we even, watched anything.
You need to watch it.
That's with Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg. I hated Andy Samberg.
I don't like him at all.
And
except in Lonely Island.
Well, and then I remember watching Pop Star, Never Stopping, which is down there.
Oh, no, I do need it.
Blew me away. And then I started watching.
Is that what the Ben Laden song's on? Yeah. He laughs at his own jokes. That's the one thing that bothers me. And, a lot of the stuff he says is not that funny. And he thinks it's funny.
Well, Lonely Island's hilarious, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine is amazing. And
people say this all the time.
And then watching Palm Springs, that movie's so great. And Kristen Milioti, who is the mother from How I Met Your Mother, she's great in it too. And then you just have J.K. Simmons thrown in too occasionally, so that just makes everything better. Now, Ethan, if you could adapt any written work, so like book, graphic novel, or anything, what would you want to see turned into a movie?
Gilgamesh, if that hasn't already been done.
I don't know what that is. Tell me about it.
It's like the first ever like epic poem. Like it was Beowulf before Beowulf.
Oh,
Like it's
see,
old.
knowing my brother, I was assuming that he was talking about it like a graphic novel.
No. I took World Lit at Camden County, and that was one of the writing, like, it was one of the readings that we had, and
Nice.
I was like one of the only people in that class that enjoyed it.
Epic poems are cool.
Yes.
Make the Inferno, make Purgatorio, Paradiso.
I feel like that would be...
That'd
that's such a high bar to be able to put that into a movie. Like, they made a really good game back on, like, PS3 and Xbox 360. It was good, but, like, I don't know.
As somebody who has took 5 years of Latin and read a lot of, like, Ovid, and I wouldn't make it a movie, but I would make it a really awesome series, would be the Aeneid. The history of our peoples. Because that's how the Romans got to Rome. They were Trojans first, if you believe all that. So, and it could be a great sequel to Troy. Because technically it is. Because they even have Aeneas really obnoxiously pointed out at the end of the movie. And I'm just sitting there watching that. I'm like, oh. It's like one of those like obnoxious cameos in like a comic book thing where it's just like, hey, people who read the comics, look who it is. It's like, all you people who read the Aeneid, it's Aeneas! And I'm like, I get this.
The one person in the theater.
I got this reference. That was my Captain America moment.
Oh my god. So...
Now, what is your favorite movie trailer?
Oh, damn. Don't watch trailers that often.
I have strong feelings about trailers nowadays. Most of the time,
They show like all the good stuff.
Exactly.
Or stuff that's not even in it. Like George of the Jungle. There was no Mr. Tuki Tuki on the plane. Where was it in the movie?
I actually have a story for you about George of the Jungle after we stop recording. But that's not for this recording. And Marvel does that all the time. They do it on purpose because they want to hide shit.
I think just for pure, like, anticipation, it was Bill and Ted, Face the Music, because I've been waiting for that since... When did I, like, first see that movie? It was like middle school.
It was a long time coming.
Yeah. It's like, this needs to happen.
Well,
and then how long were they like, this is happening, this isn't happening, it's not happening, COVID, this and that, and then it finally just came, and you're just like, I went crazy. That, like, I'm pretty sure I messaged you when I saw the...
I was like, oh my god! I still have my screener for it, because I guess it's just a endless screener, which I'll gladly accept. But then the thing is, did I buy it yet? Would be somewhere over there. I'll also be buying it on Blu-ray. But I feel like I had the same feeling about the Mad Max Fury Road trailer when that dropped, because I didn't think that movie was ever going to happen. And then it did, and then that trailer was absolutely insanity. But yeah, Bill and Ted, that was fun. I still laugh so hard when Kristen Shaw's character is like, I've been waiting so long to meet you, and Bill, and then Keanu Reeves like, well, you must be disappointed. And I'm just like, just the way that Keanu Reeves said that, I don't know why I laughed so hard watching that movie, but...
Because
it was...
They know the movie is supposed to be shit, but it's so good because it's shit and self-aware that it is shit. That's what makes...
Billy Kerrigan from the show Barry, which if you haven't watched the show Barry, you should check it out, was the robot dude. Like that robot assassin guy in Bill and Ted. Yeah, oh my god. He's a hitman.
Dude was freaking hilarious.
It was hilarious. And then of course they got William Sadler to come back as Death, because they had to.
That was...
And also, the actresses who played their daughters
We're perfect.
were perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
Make Bill and Ted 4 about them.
Yes.
And have Bill and Ted as the supporting characters. I'd be down.
Yes.
Do
it up.
Now, what's your favorite use of a song in a movie? Actually, I'm wondering if I know the answer to this.
Alright, well, there's kind of two.
Okay. I make the rules here. You can give two.
One was Immigrant Song, right? In Ragnarok.
And they used it multiple times perfectly.
Exactly. And then somebody was hyping a certain movie. I'm gonna talk over here to somebody.
Off camera.
Barb and Star go to Vista
Barb
Del
and
Mar.
Star go to Vista Del Mar.
The sequel, the sequels on the beach. Hear My Prayer song was so bad, but it was I was dying.
Well, when
also falling asleep, but
when I saw that trailer last year, and I'm like, what is this movie? And I need it right now. And then it got pushed back, and I got a screener for it. And when I was watching that, and this turns out to be some weird Bond villain movie with Kristen Wiig and I forget Annie Mantone or something like that, her writing partner. And I'm just like, what the hell is this movie? But I have to say, when that trailer released and that chunky Asian kid was riding his bike singing along that song, I'm like, I have to see this movie. Even if this kid's only in it for this scene, but then he was in it a lot more and it was really weird. That movie's really weird, but it was really funny. But I couldn't believe you didn't talk about The Breakfast Club. Don't you?
I feel like that
forget
just
about me.
feels like the credits, but yeah, I guess.
It's technically the end of the movie. Yeah. You know what's the worst part is, all those songs that get nominated for Oscars, original songs for movies, and all they do is play over the credits. Just you weren't even in the movie. That's cheap. But there's some great ones. One that always gets me, Edgar Wright really knows how to use music in movies, and Don't Stop Me Now from Shaun of the Dead when they're beating
my god, yes.
Beating the the bar owner with the pool sticks to Queen. Oh man. And basically all of Baby Driver. Just one long string of great uses of music. Oh man. And I love the Alabama song Whiskey Bar in The World's End, where they're awkwardly let's act casual, and they're wah, 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 walking down the street in sync.
Eastbound and Down.
I just watched the first season of that last year.
The song from.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah,
I thought you were
Smokey
talking.
and the Bandit.
But
that show's ridiculous.
I thought he was talking about the
Danny McBride.
Kenneth Powers. No, I watched the second season because that's when he goes to Mexico.
That was perfect.
He has Eastbound and Down from Smokey and the Bandit, which is
such a good movie.
Somewhere.
Burt Reynolds cosplay.
Burt Reynolds mustache. Actually, I'm going to
I don't know if I can even.
I don't think either of us can grow a mustache like that.
You have to be a special kind of person.
Shamelessly plug my next The Wasteland Vintage Roadshow article coming on Scribe Magazine is for Silent Movie, which is a Mel Brooks movie, which is a silent movie with a whole bunch of big stars in it and has Burt Reynolds and his mustache. So, always a nice choice. Now, what is your favorite... so, say that you want to listen to a movie score. What movie score are you going to put on?
This was... Damn. Soundtrack or just original score?
The actual score of the movie. Soundtrack would be a completely different question.
Yes,
and also
because I have
would be
a handful that I can tell you with that one.
Top Gun.
Top Gun Anthem is the best song ever.
All the Kenny
Changed my
Loggins.
mind. Halloween. For John Carpenter.
John Carpenter's scores are amazing. And even when it's not, like, Ennio Morricone did the score for The Thing, which is the strangest thing, because it really does just sound like a John Carpenter score. Dum dum. Dum dum dum.
Yeah, that's Halloween.
But, like, the Halloween score is so great, and obviously it's very similar, but the score for the new Halloween was also great. Mm-hmm. I can't remember, I don't know if you saw the Trent Reznor Atticus Ross cover of the Halloween theme song. That was really cool. Speaking of great composers, dudes from Nine Inch Nails make some great scores at this point. Basically anything John Carpenter. I was rewatching The Fog a couple weeks ago. That's a fun one. And I just love how, like, They Live is just a bunch of, like, piano, like you would hear in, like, a bar.
That's another movie, going back to one of the questions, that was, like, defied, like, all expectation. Like, what the hell is it? Roddy Piper as the main actor in a movie, and he killed it?
100% believe that role was written for Kurt Russell. Like, 100% believe that. But Roddy Piper is so amazing, and that fight that he has with Keith David in that was brutal. Because they actually fought.
Yep.
It was nuts. And so quotable.
I'm here
you see? You over here? You look fine. You real effing ugly. Formaldehyde face.
Such an awesome movie.
That movie, I love that movie.
The kick ass and chew bubblegum is like the best line ever.
The third act of that movie is so rushed because you know they completely ran out of money. Like, making that movie. That's the thing about... Because, like, that's the thing. I would love to see some John Carpenter movies get remade with bigger budgets.
Chris Pratt. And They Live. Remake. Tell me that would not work.
Well, they're remaking Big Trouble in Little China and completely changing the tone because The Rock apparently is going to be in it.
Any like action movie, they just throw The Rock in.
Which here's the thing.
He's not
like
a Kurt Russell person. Like,
Burton is an idiot. He's an idiot. Yes. He's bumbling. He's completely incompetent. He's not really the star. Like, he's the star of the movie, but he's not the hero of the movie.
He's an anti-hero, kind of. He's just like,
he's hero repellent.
Yeah.
He's so stupid. And Kurt Russell plays him so perfectly. Because, like, his sidekick's the one that does everything. Mm-hmm. And that's supposed to be the commentary because, you know, they always put the Asian dude as, like, the sidekick who does all the real work. And then, like, there you go. You got, just like in Green Hornet, with, like, Bruce Lee was just off to the side, but, you know, he was the one who was the real badass in Green Hornet. It's Bruce Lee. But I would love to, like, I'm hesitant, because you have to be a certain kind of filmmaker to make a John Carpenter movie work. Yeah. They're campy and pulpy in all the best ways, except for The Thing. That's, like, his most serious movie. Well, I guess Halloween, too, really isn't campy. It's really creepy. Like, I think rewatching
They didn't start making it, like, cheesy-ish until 4. Because you don't count 3. That was, like,
Season of the Witch.
That's actually a good movie, like, on its own, like they were supposed to do. So.
Creepy masks.
Yes.
Taking over kids on Halloween.
3 more days till Halloween. Halloween.
So, I thought this was an interesting question when I came up with this. What is the one thing that you wish movies would stop doing? Like that, like, trope or cliche that just really bothers you, that just keeps happening, and you're like, why do they continue to do these things?
I think when you're in like an action movie, you have to be like this huge, like jacked dude to be a badass.
Thanks,
just like
80s and 90s.
you don't
Well,
have
actually,
to. Yeah, like
thank you, Arnold and
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone.
just think about it. Like if you watch MMA, you can be scrawny as crap and knock a dude out with no problem. Like you don't have to be The Rock. I feel like it just that's what you have to throw out there now, or people aren't going to buy it.
Yeah, because like you need The Rock in it, apparently.
Yeah.
He's just so damn charismatic.
He is.
He's the people's champ. But like John Wick has changed that because like
yeah, true.
Keanu Reeves could kill you for real.
Literally,
Like watching those videos of him doing those training things, I'm like, my God,
yeah,
good thing he's the nicest man in the world.
Being in the doing kill houses and stuff. Like,
and
the dude actually can do what he does on screen, and it's amazing.
It's interesting because one that popped into my head that also has to do with action movies is just because you're a middle-aged dude in Hollywood or like pushing 60 does not mean you need to reinvent yourself as an action movie star. Liam Neeson. Taken ruined everything. Because it's like, did I need to... Like, I remember Sean Penn had one of those movies. I'm like, I don't want to see Sean Penn in like a middle-aged action movie. The Equalizer's a different thing because like Denzel can mess you up.
Shit.
Denzel's great, and like Nobody was really fun. That's more of like that only happened because of John Wick with Bob Odenkirk, Saul Goodman.
I don't know how like.
Surprisingly, he was really steely and intense in it, and like he's pretty agile, which surprised me about that movie. He does also get the crap beaten out of him in that movie. It's one of those.
Oh, well, that would make more sense.
It's not like
I mean, John Wick kind of like
he also
gets beat up like he does.
My God.
But he then kills you
in the second one when he kept getting hit by the car.
Yeah.
My God. He still kept coming.
Gets like shot up, hit by, like stabbed, all this, and he keeps coming. Like
I'm a little disappointed when I found out that Derek Kolstad, who created John Wick, is not coming back for the 4th and 5th one.
Uh-oh.
So I'm a little worried about that. So, which he also created Nobody, which why it really feels like a John Wick movie.
That makes sense then.
But yeah, there's a lot of things. So I admit on here all the time whenever I talk about action movies, I'm an action movie snob. Stop over-editing fight scenes. Quit it with your shaky cam. I want to be able to see things. That's why I love John Wick so much.
Crank.
That I feel like different.
Because it's the aesthetic.
Because like that's the whole aesthetic of it, and he's like literally pumped up. Like
adrenaline.
I mean, like, there's that term, like, movies that ruined Hollywood. I feel like Taken's one of them, because they're like, oh my God, we can make these older dudes, like, cool action stars. And then the Bourne movies. Just because Paul Greengrass can make shaky cam work, doesn't mean you can. So stop doing it. That's how I feel about things. And, God, even, like, I love the first Taken. It's a lot of fun. The second and the third one, the action's so terrible. They literally... He hops a fence in the third movie and has 16 edits in him hopping the fence, trying to hide that it's a stunt double, jumping a fence. I'm like, just why do you have him jump a fence? Like...
Have him run through the fence.
Do you need
to show the fence?
Do you need to show Mills jumping over a fence? No. Why do you need that in this movie? Why do you need to cut 16 times? Obviously, I have a lot of feelings about this, and I'm going to stop. So, now, even you get to ask me a question to wrap things up. So, what would you like to ask the Wasteland Reviewer?
Shit. This is one I wish I knew. But I kind of felt like... It's gonna have to ask you a question. Let's see. This might take a minute.
That is okay.
Um,
People can just stare at the movies behind us and try to figure out what's in my collection.
a lot.
I have
He can be a blockbuster.
I have 1,534 now. I have some new additions sitting right next to me that I have to put in here.
The original House of Wax.
Well, Jess and I watched that before you got here. Vincent Price.
What movie, one of your, out of like your favorite movies, what movie would you want to replace the main character in?
Max is great. I'm not going to do anything with Max. I might replace Frodo. Not going to lie. Lord of the Rings are my favorite movies. I feel like the weakling's Frodo. I'm sorry, Elijah Wood. I would replace Frodo, probably. Because, like, he's a fine character. He has, like, to be honest, he has the short end of the stick in this whole entire thing because, like, his job is to be the one to get, like, manipulated and stuff like that. So, like, because you know who the real hero of Lord of the Rings is?
Samwise Gamgee.
Yep. Sam is the real hero here. You go, Sean Astin. That's why he's the real hero of season 2 of Stranger Things.
Yes. Poor Bob.
Justice for Bob. Justice for Bob.
Yes.
But yeah, I would probably replace Frodo. Not gonna lie. Just give it to Sam. Sam's got this. Sam.
He got him there.
Yeah. If I can.
Don't shake her head.
If I can carry it for you, I can carry you. Oh man. I love Lord of the Rings. But no, I would never replace Max. Like, honestly, those movies wouldn't work without, like, a character like Max.
That was a joke.
Yeah. Mel Gibson, Tom Hardy, either way. He just needs to be there, grunt, and angrily say things in an Australian accent, like, maybe 10 times in the whole entire movie. Because that's all you need. And that's how you do it right. That's why Road Warrior and Fury Road are the best ones.
That movie was cracking.
But yes, I would replace Frodo. I'm sorry, Frodo. And all of you who diehard Lord of the Rings fans, if you might find offense to that. Sorry.
Got 2 words for it. No.
We're Degeneration X. But, Ethan, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.